I don't know. Check the city out. I'm like, that's it. Well, we gotta make sure the volume and come on, Virginia. GMS Virginia's coming at you once again. Bring out the edifying lesson. Hopefully reaching the hopeful elect. But first off, we want to face the east. Give all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, God Kodash. We give double honors to the apostles there. There's a great millstone who teach well and rule well. And the brothers, like-minded brothers, is preaching in one accord. In the names of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, we want to say Shalom. Shalom. And today, we're gonna start this camp opening up and going into prophecy, because right now what we're witnessing division of Obadiah. We're witnessing everything speaking out right now. We're actually seeing prophecy take place. We're seeing this devil being brought low, and we're also seeing, the Yahweh starting to work in our favor, because everything that's being done is all for us to come and be magnified with Yahweh Shai when he returns. And I'm gonna start in Obadiah. I got it. Start at the top. You want the top? Yeah. Yeah. This is Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah or Obadiah. Thus said the Lord Yahweh, thy power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. And whenever you bros want to speak, go ahead. And that's what's taking place. A lot of these kingdoms that was once, considered to be small, starting to rise up against this devil. She's being brought lower. All right. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. She's this place is being greatly despised, even down to the everyday Americans, man. You're starting to see that, these other countries don't even want Americans in their country, man. They looking at American like they, the most, despicable person on the earth right now, man, because everybody is seeing this place for what it is. Yeah, kind of, if I may, because although, the brother just read, thou hast made me small amongst the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Who's that talking about? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, those small hats, Esau, even, have been the biggest problem upon the face of the earth. They have been a contributor to every oppressive means in Babylon, especially for Jacob. That's why these Ammonites and Ishmaelites come over here and look at us in a certain light. They look at us like as we're going on as well. You know what I mean? They look at us very like, oh, these ain't nothing but these niggas. Because they've seen what Babylon had done something. You have built Babylon up. And now that Babylon's running for the program, like they get to do away with their servants, basically. Let back on the brother just said. That's a beautiful point. You know what I'm saying? Because these other nations know that we are the Lord's people. They know that we're the Lord's people, but they treat us as if we're unbelievers. Yeah, and he has done such a great he has done such a great trick that a lot of these other nations, like you say, bro, know who we are. Who's the one nation that don't know who we are? Us. You know what I mean?
Right.
He has done such a good job to. I'm not no Israelite. I'm an African. I'm a Muslim. You know what I mean? And you go to certain spots, and I'm just going through the spirit. You go to certain spots. This brother would know because his family from Philly. Go to Philly and say something about Islam or Muslim. You might not make it out of it.
My whole dad's side of the family.
Yeah. And a lot of my family is from, I'm from New Jersey. I got family from New York and Philly. That whole area is heavily Muslim. And there's a rapper named Dark Low.
Dark Low.
Dark Low is straight from north, as they say, North Philly. They say they just North.
Right. Yeah,
North Philly. And he was a Muslim, and when he got locked up, he found out the truth. And when he first came out, he was dibbling and dabbling, but then he just came full out like, "Oh, I'm an Israelite." And you gotta see the comments, man. They wishing death on him. I mean, like they're bombing on them. You know what I mean? So he has basically done such a. Oh, you going to the West Coast? So I if I'm getting along with it. But what's so big on the West Coast? Gang culture, right? To the point where. Let's say 3 kids grew up in the house, and one turned blood and one turned a Crip. You know what I mean? Or a Crip, because out there Crips kill Crips. You know what I mean? Well, to the point where they'll be ready to kill their own brother off of East influence on colors. You know what I mean? So, like you said, them Ishmaelites, them Elamites, they know who we are. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I wonder how a true Ishmaelite feel about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans profess to Allah. You know what I mean? How they truly feel about that. Because they know who our power truly is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So this is why we're on the highways and byways to wake up not just every Israelite, but the elect,
Yeah, come
on.
Like I was in the store one day. This is when I first came to the truth. I was in the store one day. You know how, you come into the truth, you got that excessive feel.
You do it too much. You don't do once you come, you do a little too much.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't using wisdom at the time.
Right.
At the time, and I walked into this Arab store, you know what I'm saying? And I'm standing there and I'm watching Ishmael serve Jake pork and egg sandwiches, and I'm, and I'm getting on Ishmael. And Ishmael made a good point. They come in here wanting it. They want it. And I just give it to them. And just as he said that, a Jake walked in and asked for the same shit. I was like, all right, bro. But I just walked out the store
and you're right about that, but if somebody please get the precept of the other nations licking our wounds. Because at the end of the day, they still profited. And he's a Muslim. He's not supposed to touch that shit. You know what I mean? But that shows you how they look at us. These dudes, and they're truly not God-fearing of their power. You know what I mean? Oh, let me get a couple dollars and then I'll go pray 5 times a day and apologize. Nah, fuck that. Because you're not supposed to do that. And at the end of the day, he is our cousin, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? They look at, even though they know the promise we will receive, they're going to get it while the get is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Con. Case in point. I know you got something to tell y'all about. Okay, Con, you bring it up.
No, go ahead, make it move.
The point I want to make is I was at the plantation last week. And I get to this machine, and this, I want to say he's a heathen, he could be a Jake, I don't know. But he was excited. He was like, man, we have a 3-day weekend or a 4-day weekend or whatever. I'm celebrating Easter and da-da-da with my kids. And I was like, I asked him a question. What does Easter have to do with eggs, a rabbit, and the Messiah?
They gonna give a fuck.
And he stopped. He thought about it. He said, that's a good fucking question. And I said, because it's pagan. He didn't know what pagan was. And I said, it's in the worship of a false deity. And he was like, oh, okay. And I looked at him, I said, now that you know that, are you still going to do it? He said, yeah, I'm doing it for the kids type shit. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. So I told him everything that you celebrate on this side is pagan. And then I said, Christmas is pagan. The nigga looked at me and said, I don't want to know. I said, all right, I'm done. Pack my shit up and I'm out.
Yeah.
That's the mindset that we have at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
Isaiah, speak unto me smooth word, prophesy
The seat.
the seat.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't want the truth. They want the lies. Because what? The lies feel good. You know? The lies that has been spread throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, they have been prone to it so much to the point where when they hear the truth, they hurt. And that's why they got they saying, oh, the truth hurts. But no, the truth is the truth. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And you got hard truth and you got nothing but the truth. But the simple fact is, you got facts and you got feelings. A lot of these people, they make decisions based on their feelings. And that's how you know that this is what? A queen. You know, because everything is, oh, I don't feel like that's okay. I feel like this is okay, and you know, so on and so forth. But no, nigga, you ain't supposed to be celebrating this shit, man. Fuck them kids.
Yeah, right.
And that's our people, man. They willfully doing this, you know. And that's why, like this the judgment that's coming to this place is gonna be so great, man, because they not hearkening to the words of the Lord and they really put his hands on them. They gonna feel it, and that's by pain. But I got this in 2 Peter 3 and you want to finish here?
Yeah, please.
This is Luke chapter 18 and verse 20. Matter of fact, I started verse 19. It says, there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. Now that rich man is talking about this damn devil he saw Edom, all right, which is the physical counterpart of spiritual demon Satan. All right, he is known as the rich man. Matter of fact, I had something in Job just to prove that real quick. It says, this is Job 21 and verse 7. It says, wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power. Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. It says their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of the Most High upon them. You know? So with that being said, is letting you know that and there's another priest where it speaks about they spend their days in wealth. You know what I mean? But what? Their houses are safe. They have these gated communities, they have these acres of land. And I remember my old supervisor, I was talking to him, and this nigga was telling me that pretty much he had 20 acres of land, had a whole lake, and he was paying $1,800 a month for it. So then I said, yeah, you paying 18. He's like, yeah, it was inherited to me. You know, my great grandfather, you know, owned this land and so on and so forth. But me through the spirit, I'm like, nigga, they took that fucking land. You know, Jake probably owned that land till they found it after, you know, the Emancipation Proclamation. And then, you know, they had their own little community. And then what? Y'all didn't like it. Maybe a woman whistled in the elevator, and now y'all came and, you know, took over his land. And now you saying, oh, yeah, we inherit this and so on and so forth. But that just let you know that who's truly the rich. Because what is truly rich is this wealth. You have resources, you have land, right? You have servants and things of that nature. So, you know, they living good.
Yeah, Con, you know, the land back on that even, you know, any land that these devils have that they say that they inherited, it was like you said, stolen. Yeah. But in that, Jakes were managing that shit. You know, you can't have land that fucking long, you know, that's handed down from generation to generation, and you gotta have slaves.
Yep, that they call it a nanny or a butler. They try to use words and try to make it seem like it ain't a slave, but no, nigga, it's a slave.
Yeah,
it's the handmaid.
Bondage. No, motherfucker, that shit was a plantation at one point. You know, I just Edomite at the plantation, you know what I'm saying? He says, yeah, I go to Maine or wherever the fuck he goes with his spouse. He says, you know, to the cottage. You know, I don't know what a fucking cottage is. I don't know what a PJ is.
Well, my uncle lives out of Hopewell. He literally lives next door to Pocahontas' kids. Wow. Like, you know how in Africa they come in Virginia, you know how they got them signs that over historical facts. Yeah, I'll show y'all after that, Lord's will. And it breaks down Pocahontas' kids own this land, and one of the descendants of the kids actually is the caretaker. Yeah, so he's probably just living on that land for free. There's a house in the back, nice size house. I mean, ain't nothing luxurious or nothing, but that's their family, and we know Pocahontas' kids is what Esau. You know what I mean? So it's just, I just want to land back off that.
This devil gotta go. So like you gotta tell y'all.
So going back to Luke 16 and verse 20, it says, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. Right, that Lazarus is speaking about who? The nation of Israel. That consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Syrian Indians. Right? It said laid at the gate full of sores. Okay, what does the sores represent? Represent your afflictions, your oppressions. Okay, the state of the conditions that you're living in, right? And it says, verse 21, desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, right? So, and that's heavy because when you look at it in today's society, what do we constantly get crumbs? We got child welfare, we got government assistance, we got WIC, we got SNAP, right? We got food stamps, we got all these different things, but all that's coming, you know what I'm saying, from the crumbs from the devil's table. Because he knows good damn well he could have gave us 40 acres in a deal. He could have gave us, our communities, so on and so forth. He could have took off the taxation from us, and then we can have that. No, and put heavy taxation on us, gave us little government assistance, and say, hey, if you move the man out the house, you'll be having this. And that's fucking crumb. And then they say if you don't, I think it's like 20K. If you make more than like 20K a year, then if you make less than 20K a year, then you're able to receive that type of assistance. Think that's crumbs. 20K is not going to last you. You know what I'm saying? You can't survive off of fucking 20K. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, that just another indicator lets you know that Lazarus, Lazarus, man, that's Israel, man. All right, and it says, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores, like the brother was quoting earlier. Those dogs, okay, happen to be who? The Goyim, the nations outside of the nation of Israel. Okay, you got Ishmael, right? You got Elon, you got Japheth, you got Moab, Ammon, and various other different,
they all get money off of us.
They constantly Moab, the weave and fucking Chinese
General. Let me get General Tissot's chicken. You know how they gonna have
right.
Let me get the rib tits.
And there's a spiritual thing because we all once was slaves in each of these nations' kingdom, man. So it just shows this is, we the true people in the Lord. These are the curses that we was in to be under these nations.
I got something after you.
And then it says, I'll just leave it right there because that was the point. That's the point.
I got something to land back on what we've been saying. The book of Lamentations, chapter 1 and verse 20. I read down to 22. Behold, O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, for I am in distress. My bowels are troubled in mine heart. My heart is turned within me. For I have grievously rebelled abroad the sword bereaveth. At home there is as death. They have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All mine enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me for all my transgressions. For my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. So, we talk about these other nations and what they've done to us as far as licking our wounds, watching us be destroyed. They were happy when they were doing it. They're happy being in their kingdom with Esau Edom bringing us down. They're happy with that, and none of them ask how we do it. They're not asking how Jacob's doing. But now those tables are being flipped because we were chastised for our transgressions. Well, now our prayers is for them to get whipped for their transgressions as to what they did to us. And who was the number one leader in that? Esau Edom. Ishmael, the Ammonites, the Moabites. all of these other nations, the Canaanite, all these other nations have had a hand in the destruction of Yasharal. You know, to the point where even if you tell our people that they are the Lord's people, they don't want to hear it. Even when you tell our people that you know everything that's going on in Babylon the Great is not right, you know, it's not righteous, they don't want to hear it because they have been destroyed. You know, like Lakamar was bringing out, these people are so destroyed that they don't even want to hear the truth. And like Zariala was saying, you know, preaching was smooth things. We don't want to hear the truth, you know?
The scriptures say the whole head is sick. Like, you know, when you speak to Big Shirley or the nigga woman about how these holidays are wicked, some of them say, yeah, I know that they're pagan or wicked, but it's for the kids.
Yeah.
So why would you?
Yeah. Do you really love your child now? That's how you got to really look at it.
Right.
Like, if you know this is nothing good is going to come out of this, but that's like you said, that's smooth saying. They want that feel good spirit right now. You know what I mean? And that's just very hey, he has done such a number on us. He has pulled our woman from us and made them the junkyard dog. You know what I mean? You know, off the leash, man. You know?
Y'all think coming back, I got something. You got something? I got something. The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep thou silence, O Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, hold back not thy peace. And be not still, O Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against my people, and consulted against thine hidden ones.
Who's the hidden one? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? You just because you don't know who you are. Revelation says, I know thy tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. We hidden in plain sight. We're looked at as the low of the low. We ain't shit, right? But we have a promise that's going to come into fruition very soon, you know?
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Yeah, and what did I just say earlier, man? So-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans don't know who you are. You know, you a blood, you a Crip, you a Latin King, you a Moor, you a damn Muslim.
I'm conscious.
Yeah, Kemetic. Use ADOS, ancient descendant of slavery.
7 Day Adventist.
Jehovah's Witness. You know, and the list goes on. You know, and some of them on some day that I die for this shit. You know what I mean? Like some of them really on it like that. You know what I mean? We are the hidden ones. You got it, bro.
Reading on, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yasharallah may no more be in remembrance.
Be no more in remembrance. I ain't no damn Israelite. I'm black. I'm a Hoover Crip. Good. You know what I mean? Like, and then they meet like I'm being funny, but I'm being sincere with it too, because that's how they feel. You got it to the point where you go to New York, people will die over a block that Esau has built in. It's called projects for a reason. You know what I mean? That these people are that's on top is looking to see how you react to stuff. You know, and I don't mean to be long with it again, but just imagine 3 generations living in Queensbridge. I'm just saying, whatever. Now, you know, every project has one store that you go to, but you're still in the projects. Right. So it's a lot of people that have never even left Queensbridge projects because everything they need is right at this store.
Yeah.
So you think about how people the ones that's in power are looking down at you, low Jake, man. Yeah. You know, you don't even know how the outside business works. The outside world works because he has trapped you. You're basically a mice on the hamster on the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Just keep going, same shit. You know what I mean? And that's all that Eve's doing.
Yeah. There was a test done, and you brothers may remember it from a long time ago. There was an experiment done on fleas. And what they did was they put the fleas that normally jump inside of a tube. Okay. And you know, like a glass tube. And when they put the fleas inside the glass tube, initially the fleas would jump. Mm-hmm. You know, but it's gotten to the point where the fleas came to the conclusion that if I jump, I'm not going to jump high. So don't jump. Even though they could see the outside and they were in this glass tube, they stopped jumping.
Great analogy.
Laying on what you're saying, Jake has been in this little fucking bubble called the PJs for so long that he refuses to come out.
Yep.
And you know, like as far as Jacob's trouble happening, I could see that being an easy thing with a lot of Jakes.
And, you know, another reason why they stay in those, you know, projects, the acronym for projects is people relying on just enough to survive. The reason why they still in that, you know, that project is because their mindset has to change. You know, because you got that saying, you can take Jake out the hood, but you can take the hood out of Jake. You know what I'm saying? If your mind doesn't change, then how can you fully change or change the things that are around you? So they don't have the right leaders and so on and so forth. And then when the Lord sent the prophets out, well, what's going to happen? We know, of course, the prophets are going to persecute us. They're going to say we're wrong, and you know, all these different things. It's all part of the spirit.
Let me finish on that story. So those fleas that no longer jumped were now tamed not to jump. They got away from their natural ability. So what these devils did was said, okay, let me construct a little fucking carriage and glue it to the fleas and have this little flea pull this big ass carriage. I'll post it on the chat because I remember this when I was a kid. And they did that to show the might of a little flea can pull something 1,000 times its own size.
I didn't know that.
If I find it, I'll post it in the chat. Because when you look at that in terms of this analogy, that's Jake. You know, let's what? Go ahead and break him down, stop him from being the man that he is, and then have him do the work.
Build and destroy.
They'll go back to Egypt. But even during the time of Egypt, when Pharaoh said that we were, we were multiplying exceedingly, he said, hey, man, we need to kill these niggas off or they'll overpower us. But we need to increase the all taxes and war taxes. You know, we have constantly been at war with these other nations for so long, man. You know, and the people, our people, they pick up this Bible, they don't even realize that these people that are speaking about the Israelites don't even realize it's true.
What did Yahweh Hashem Yahushua call us? When we were in Egypt, he called us his armies. You know, even back then, he considered Yasharallah his armies. You know, because I don't know where these people get this concept that you know the Lord is like all peace. You know,
Christianity.
Yeah,
That's what he can.
Yeah. But the scriptures also say that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is a man of war.
It's called the Lord of Hosts.
The Lord of Armies, come on. You know? So, I mean, these people are in for a rude awakening.
Before we had got the Lord's name, the Heavenly Father's name, what was he called? Ali Ashaju, demon like power. You know what I mean? But church, Pastor Earl Watson don't break that down in his church on Sunday.
Yeah, right. And that's because for a long time the Lord had been holding his peace without holding on. In Isaiah in 42 and 14 it says, I have a long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now I will cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. Yeah, and that's even into the Jakes like you was going to say, that's not really waking up, you know, because really this delusion that this devil, this world has put on our people, it really had a stronghold on them, and everybody's not going to wake up, and that's why, like, coming into this truth, we know that a lot of Jakes and a lot of Israel is not going to be saved this time around. A lot of them got to go back to the spirit world because they're not going to wake up out of this delusion that they're under.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know if you've done. Finish that where you were at.
Okay, Con, I'm
You don't mind.
still holding the faith, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I still got you.
We go into the spirit.
Psalms 83, right?
Yeah, Con.
Okay, Con. The book of Psalms, you done?
Yeah.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 5. It reads, for they have consulted together with one consent.
Hey, they have actually sat around and said, hey, we'll do this, we'll do that. What do we need to do? need to keep Israel low. We're going to keep him at a low state, make him think that he is not the son of the Most High, the children of the Most High. He's going to be our slave for years to come, you know? Well, you got it, bro.
Reading on. The tabernacles of Edom
Mm-hmm.
and the Ishmaelites
Uh-huh.
of Moab.
So Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, Ishmael, right? Is that Ishmael? Right? You know, you so-called Arabs. Go ahead.
Of Moab
The so-called Chinese,
and the Hagarenes,
right?
Gabal and Ammon,
And then the so-called Japanese.
Amalek,
Okay, and we know that's the top tribe of Edom. You know what I mean? That's who pulled the string. You know.
the Philistines
Uh-huh.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Come on, man. You so-called African. You know what I mean? So all these nations are coming up off of our backs, man. Who built this place called America, man? You know, however you want to slice it. Oh, make sure that- But you know what I mean? No matter how you want to slice it, look what you did to Gad. You know what I mean? Look what you did to so-called Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, so-called Jamaicans, so-called Haitians, so-called Negroes. No matter how you slice it, these other nations have gotten to a point, and this is Esau's kingdom, but these other nations have basically cut a side bet with Esau. Yeah, we know we under you right now, but let us get our little shekels, our little getting good while we can. You got it? Yeah.
Assur also is joined with them.
Mm-hmm.
They have hope in the children of Lot. So
Yeah. So basically, at the end of the day, man, you want to keep us on in a mind, a thought process that we're never going to get out of this situation. You know, that's why when the Israelites come to other Israelites that might not be in the faith, and we tell them the good news, they don't want to hear it. It's like, they've been telling me this for 40 years, and we still in the same predicament. You know what I mean? So, hey, they have really done this crafty counsel, man. It's the wiles of the devil. It's the trickery. You know what I mean? So we're going to continue. We're not, Lord will, but the 2/3 are going to continue in that same mind state. But the blessing, the beautiful thing is that the 1/3, the elect, is going to come up out of that. And once that number is sealed, man, we out of here, and the Lord's going to crack the skies. You know?
yeah, Connie, you brought up a really good point about, the Northern Kingdom. These other nations know what you did to the Northern Kingdom.
Right.
And they damn sure know what you did to the Southern Kingdom.
Right.
They just passed a vote a week ago, to go into what was the greatest atrocity upon the face of the earth.
What they trying to say, the H word?
No. So the other nations said, the slave trade.
Oh.
And they voted that the slave trade was the greatest atrocity, being the worst upon the face of the earth. And those who voted against it was Babylon the Great.
Yeah. Argentina.
Yeah, Argentina and, our land.
Yeah.
And they voted against it. Why?
Yeah.
Because you know what you've done.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a recompense to what you've done. Now, the point I want to get behind what you said was they know what you did to Gad. They know what you did to Jake. And what are you seeing now? Iran went through 2 treaties with you, and on the 3rd treaty, they was like, nah, fuck that. But if Gad wasn't smart, they would have did the same thing. Our people are so fucking forgiving after being treated like shit that, it's very easy for this devil to do any fucking thing he wants to do to you.
Yeah, the Lord has put compassion in our spirit. Yeah. That's why in the day when shit kicks off, the Lord's going to put a spirit of fury and vengeance.
Yeah.
James Brown style. Hey, that. You know what I mean? Because think about what the scriptures say, dashing the babies against some little ones against stones. Yeah. In our spirit right now, we can't do nothing like that because we have such a compassion. Just think about it. Say some nigga gets rooftop took it off right in front of us. And Jake ain't gonna be like, Jake, yeah, probably picking my head. What Jake gonna do is gather up people and do a peaceful walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, compassion. I mean, we just don't have that spirit on.
But Jake don't fucking learn.
Right.
How many marches are you going to go through before you realize that this man is fucking you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you look at Iran, it just took 2.
I never really understood the fucking purpose of a march. So, like, what is marching about? You standing on business like a
The
medical.
voice ain't heard, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's basically having hope of
yeah.
change.
It should be all.
Non-violent.
But-
Non-violent.
Yeah, but that's like Mother's brings out the definition of insanity. Isn't that insane to keep?
Yeah,
Like you said, this is nothing new. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, you know, now the BLM, well, we know that was an inside job, but just name people, what's up every time somebody get killed, they get the real dark-skinned Jake. Clean face, you know what I'm talking about? Down in South, like South Carolina and all that. It's the same people, and they think something's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change. That's insanity. You know what I mean?
You put your hope and trust in this damn system to think that they're going to change it on the behalf of something that happens to you as a people.
Exactly.
If that was the case, they don't. Honestly, they don't even think it's their fault. They take all it's like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. He shouldn't have been walking the street with his hood up. He shouldn't have been doing, whatever. But that's the spirit that he saw in. These niggas don't take accountability.
Oh shit.
Oh,
That's destiny.
Yeah.
That's what they believe in.
Salakia. I woke up this morning and I was looking on social media and there was another Karen. I don't know if bro seen this though. The young Jake was like 19. He lived in this complex, kind of looked like around your way. And they were there for 6 years and they finally got tired of the harassment, so they were moving stuff out. So the mother had the young Jake throw stuff in the trash. And you know how you might have a couple tables and a chair, you sit to the side of the garbage, can't fit it in the garbage, so they don't want it no more. Man, this damn Karen lost it. Jumped in his face, blocked him from throwing trash away, and you could just see she was just getting nasty. You could just see E coming all out of her. Like you seen the horns coming out. Like, and she really was popping off to yes, he was a young man, but he's still way bigger than her, and she just felt like she basically had an issue with him throwing trash away. Like she ran the shit. She was not but a 10. And the young Jake said, yeah, we're moving because of people like you. You know what I mean? And like you said, they try to act like they didn't do nothing wrong. She's harassing him, you know what I mean? And that's the spirit of E. And it's only going to get worse. So that marching, that holding hands shit, that shit ain't going to work, man. You know what I mean? You a fool to think that something's going to change out of that.
Precept. Zechariah 11 and verse 4. It says, thus saith the Lord my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they say that sell the say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. So that's essentially the whole situation of America in a nutshell, man. We are in the possession of our oppressors, man, and they don't hold themselves guilty. You just brought out in some of that they said what was the biggest atrocity or the biggest thing that happened in America, and it was the transatlantic slave trade, and the things that transpired after that, because that was literally just the seed that was planted, right? You still had other wicked acts that was way horrible than that. Like when you watch, I remember as a kid watching the movie The Great Debaters with Denzel Washington. And they were doing they were debating over words and so on and so forth. And I remember they went into this particular town and it was nighttime and had Jake all burned up. And they said, oh, it's niggas in the car. They trying to hurry. If they didn't get away, it would be good. You know what I'm saying? But just to show you that image of what they did, that shows you in the book of Without Sanctuary. You don't think they're still doing that to this day?
Rosewood. Yo, but like on a sincere, like if they were being sincere, how could you vote that the transatlantic slave trade wasn't the most biggest? Look where it shipped Jake. See, a lot of Jake don't do their history. They think Jake just came from Africa and America. They shipped Gad to the UK. You know what I mean? And it's called a triangle slave trade.
Yeah.
Then they went back to Africa, then back to America. So that's why, us in this truth, we try to resonate with our tribe through the spirit and this and that. But it's a lot of, like, I got a movie called Black Indian. It's a lot of Judites that are actually Gad. And there's a lot of Gad that's actually Judites. But because of the shipping, like you go to UK, you're going to see a whole bunch of niggas. And people don't even realize, me coming up as a kid, I thought rich people were just, out of London and all that, it was just all white people. Hell no. You got Benjamin, you got a lot of Hamites out there on the low. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, brother. That's going into the scattering.
Benjamin heavy out there.
Yeah, that's going into the scatter. And this is Baruch 2 and 29. It says, this is what the Lord has done. It says, if you will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number amongst the nations where I will scatter them. Yeah. And verse 30, it says, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves.
And that, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, read that again, Michael Shaw. The last part. I like it, though.
Baruch 2 and 30 says, Baruch 2 and 30 says, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves.
Yeah, it said they knew that they would not hear me. How are the children of Israel not hearing the Lord? The Lord is speaking through his prophets. Read Hebrews 1 and 1. So with that being said, they're not hearkening onto the prophets. But what? In this time frame that we're in, they're going to remember themselves. Why? Because you have a thing called social media. Social media is bringing out the facts. Social media is bringing out the history, bringing out everything of who you are. So then now all it takes is for Jake to come across the video. Boom. Now they go through a whole rabbit hole. Now they come across the truth. Now they're starting to think, oh, man, that is us. But something clicks in their spirit, like, damn, I'll resonate this. But you got some people that listen to it, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. They acknowledge it and they keep moving, live their day-to-day life. Or you actually people that actually take action, like, no, fuck that. This ain't right. We need to stand on this. Right. And we need to, you know what I'm saying, repent and turn to Yahweh Shem Shah. You got it. You had a point about it?
Yeah, I was saying that, like, another thing you're saying, like, the Lord is gonna tap into a lot of these jakes and to rise them up. Right now, they stoop down as the lion. I got that verse. This is Genesis 49 and 9. It says, Judah is a lion whelp from the prey, my son. Thou art gone up. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion and as an old lion. Who shall rise him up? Yeah, and that's what we're going into, like all of the stuff going on, like the brother was talking about how, that Edomite, like a lot of these jakes are gonna start to get roused up in these end times, which is gonna cause, a lot of this civil division, fighting amongst, all the other nations, because they're remembering themselves.
Yeah, it's just Salaki. Remember now, this is all of the Lord. This is doing of the Lord. Remember, what's the scripture? He said, I created spirits for vengeance. Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised and when shit hits the fan, might not be elect, but the Lord just had Tyrone say, I'm tired of this shit. Remember on Sinners? Delroy, I don't know what his name was, but he was the drunk in Sinners. Yeah. And he like, fuck that. Because he wanted to survive, but he's like, y'all motherfuckers got to kill me first. And he gave up his body so everybody could run this shit. Right. Don't be surprised, it's going to be niggas that the Lord just say, fuck that. Run these.
Take us.
Yeah, that's what you go. Yeah, get him. Yeah, get him. And he ain't going to know why that spirit hopped on him, but it's all y'all.
The heat of the moment. Yeah. Everything will happen. Brothers that, may be particularly timid or shy. Yeah. They gonna be the ones that's the most boldest in trouble. Like, damn, brother.
I'm sure I've seen that on low levels where, back in the world, where you see the little dude, he set shit off first. Out of nowhere. He ain't never been like that. You know what time shit? We've seen that though, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit. Oh shit. Tell, bro. Fuck that. Yeah, that's what there we go.
Judah, I was ready. Because, hey, matter of fact, since y'all brought that out, let me get this real quick because that ties into Zechariah. Let's see. This is Zechariah chapter 12. And I'll start at verse 7. It says, "And the Lord shall save the tents of Judah first, and the glory of the house of David, and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah." So that envy against Israel and Judah, that is going to go away. But what the Lord has gathered Judah first because they're the head tribe.
You see?
So if they see Judah rousing up, that's automatically going to enable all the other tribes to you know what I'm saying?
It's a trickle. Like even with Deontay Wilder, that famous interview where he was like, "To this day, you've seen the fire like that kind of set." That would, you know what I mean? You know what y'all, you know what I mean? That's a precept right there.
Yeah, you know, right? His pride was just standing there like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, right.
You know?
Trying to.
Well, because you see the frustration, but he know he can't. You know what I mean?
Can't let it
Yeah.
But that's that quote unquote alliance wolf or that old lion. Yeah, because that old when you look at an old lion, because sometimes to the spirit, and you go to zoos and things of that nature, like in the world. And when you look at a lion that's been domesticated in that cage for so long, the fight gets out of him. He doesn't have that fiery spirit anymore because he's been taken away from his natural habitat.
Yeah.
Jake has been taken away from their natural habitat, and they have been domesticated. They have been Americanized. They have been oppressed. They have been told that they're nothing by their mothers, by their fathers, not being around. So they're literally on the low vibration. They don't have no confidence. They don't have no confidence. They don't have no common stories in how about yourself. Some people back in the day, being, hey, the Lord, may put the spirit on the prophet to say something where it may trigger, or something that's going to happen with Jake.
Y'all remember that meme like last year, like this lion was just laying down in the grass. Female lion was messing with him. The hyenas kept picking with him and everything. He finally just rose up and just devoured and killed him.
Yep.
That's gonna be how Judah gonna be.
Let me bring this out right quick. Because it all started with the men of Yahweh Shimmy outside saying shit that actually had a lot of people saying, "Damn, say that." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the men of Yahweh Shimmy outside was saying things that your average Jake just wouldn't say because of the fear of being fearful.
Even preaching the word when elder apostle, remember the video that blew up, "You're a slut."
Yeah.
When that came out, that struck a lot of people. They're like, hold on, they preaching the Bible, they cussing, they can, and they confounded everybody. Yeah, that rose up, that brought a lot of people into the truth.
Exactly.
It's there in New York City, right? Screaming, "Fuck the nigga woman."
Exactly.
And this is the melting pot. We're like, hey, the black woman is queen. She is God. My star. Man, fuck this nigga woman. That's so everybody like, how dare you? You know what I mean? Only one saying who the devil is. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it started with the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua being able to say things to have the men think about what was going on. I got a precept. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him and made no account for his labors.
It made no account for his. Oh, sorry, you got it, bro.
No. I mean, it was the men of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that actually got in this man's face and said, it's your fault. It's because of you. You did this.
Yeah.
This is your kingdom. This is your righteous kingdom. You enslaved Yasharali. You did this to the women. You did this to the nation. You did this to the world. You did this to the earth.
And meanwhile, you don't want to admit the truth of what you did to us.
Exactly.
So they quick to call us lazy. How the fuck you calling us lazy and we built your fucking kingdom for you? You know what I mean?
I said Daniel. You shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Nigga, we wore out. Nigga, you still wearing us out. You got fucking you had fucking kids picking cotton at the age of 2.
Sure did, in the dark. in the dark with a fucking candle over their head.
Now imagine now, everybody know about how hard it is to pick cotton. You gonna slice your fingers up, prick your fingers up. You got a 2-year-old out there doing that shit, man. Ooh, that right there.
That alone should be
Yeah, yeah.
in the heat.
Imagine a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So imagine in the kingdom. Imagine in the kingdom. Do you actually think that we're gonna give a damn if we sell your kids? You think you're gonna give a damn if we sell your when we sell your kids to the Sabians?
Right.
We're not gonna give a damn about that. We're not even gonna care. Look, we're not even gonna give 2 shits about what happens to you. Because in that day you will be proper
That's right.
with no voice whatsoever.
What is it, real quick? I know you're about to get it real quick. I'm not even gonna get. It's a righteous thing to recompense tribulation to the ones that put tribulation on you, roughly parent. You know, so don't say, "Oh, this ain't fair." Shit, the scripture said that for the shit, the pain and wickedness you put on us, you shall receive double of that cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we gonna do it in the righteous. You got it, bro.
Let me wrap this up. The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with troubled with terrible fear, and shall be ashamed at the strangeness of his salvation, so beyond all that they have looked for.
Is this the men that we had in derision? You know what I mean? Is this, there's no way that the hell, and we kept our foot on this guy's neck, and now he's at the top. They're gonna be in the pits like, how the fuck
It's
did
right
this
here.
happen? You know what I mean?
It's right here. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision, a proverb of reproach.
Had us feeling like we mentally won't shit, spiritually won't shit. Wait, I ain't shit. I'm a nigga. You know, I'm an Nigga.
Heard niggas say that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I ain't no Israelite. You know, and to have us as a reproach, to feel like we were beneath the low of the low. You know what I mean? But the beautiful thing is, Yahweh Shai said, the meek shall inherit the earth. And that's what he's speaking about. Because the elect of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the ones that bear witness to the true gospel, you're going to be, we don't even know what we like, yo. But whatever our heart desire, we're going to be on top, man, doing that. And we're going to have the oppressors that had us oppressed beneath us, subject, you know?
I got a little bit more. You done, bro?
Yeah.
I got a little bit more. We fools account his life madness, and his ends to be without honor. How was he numbered amongst the children of the Most High? And I hate the word and his lot amongst the saints, and the saints are the Israelites.
Come on.
You know. Therefore, we have erred from the ways of truth, and the light of righteousness have not been shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. So you don't know what you've done to the people that you've done it to. Well, let me rephrase that. You have cognitive dissonance on the evils that you have shed upon your surroundings, you know, because a lot of you people don't think that we're the people. So that understanding hasn't shined upon you, you know?
Yeah.
The fact that the prophets are out here this day telling you where you went off has not shined upon you, you know? And for you to sit here to think that your kingdom is going to last forever, but it's not, has not shined upon you, you know? But you're continuing to trouble the children of Israel, not knowing that the one that you could be troubling could be of the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And even in that, you don't even know what his number is in terms of his position in the kingdom. You know?
Yeah, you don't know who you touch.
You don't know who you touched.
Who you offended.
You got it, bro.
You have no idea who you're dealing with, man. You know, you gotta, it would behoove you so-called heathens to kind of really look at us as a whole. And, you know, of course they're going to look at it just black, but I'm talking about the whole nation of Israel. How the atrocities you put on us, yet we still Yeah, still making something out of nothing, still flourishing. But you know, sometimes you see just for the men that the prophets of the Lord, when people walk by, sometimes they're in awe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They be looking like I remember
Yeah.
in Richmond when they used to hit the corner, they and all just to see all different shades of brown sitting there in one accord, in unison. Now, mind you, these other nations have tried to break us down. That's how you should know the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is for real. Because and bros come from all different walks, all different type of trauma, all different type of mindsets. But they got one thing in common. And you can't say that the spirit of the Lord ain't on them, man. You know?
Yeah, one word.
Yeah.
We all preach the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And we all singing that new song. You know what I mean?
I got a quick one about your brother. This is Malachi 3:6. It says, "For I am the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed." Right? Who's the sons of Jacob? You are the descendants, okay, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, Jacob is interchangeable with Israel. All right. So we're descendants, okay, that came from those respective tribes. Right. And they say that people are not going to be consumed because what the Lord changed not. That's why we're able to stand through the mercy of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Because if it wasn't for the mercy of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we would have been dead. Shit, the pollen all in the fucking air, chemtrails, GMO, fucking pork in all the fucking foods, all these different petroleum-based medicines, all the vaccinations we probably got when we was kids that our parents didn't know no better about, fucking rat poison in cereal, you know, because we love the fuck out of cereal. Fucking high fruit corn torch syrup, all of that, man. But what, through the mercy of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we still stay there. But that lets you know that there is a power, man. And we serve that power.
But the Lord said that we should eat poison.
Mm-hmm.
The foul bread amongst the heathen, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then, you know what's crazy? Oh, one more thing. You know, now it's I've known for a couple of years, but now things are being magnified. That's why the internet is a blessing and a curse, because a lot of things are being exposed. But the damn Amalek put codes on the food, colored on the toothpaste, all that.
Yeah.
Certain symbols. That's why they know what to eat. That's
Right. Yeah.
Without the bullshit, the high fructose corn syrup, without the red 40, without it, because all they are taught. That's like say this is a product, and they'll have a yellow bar or a blue bar.
Yep.
But they know that black bar is good to go. You know what I mean? Oh, this is what we have. This is why they grape juice is real grapes. You know what I'm saying? That's some devious, and it's a secret for them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They give them the indicator.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, hey man, look out for this.
Yeah.
Because we selling these in the store. You know what I'm saying?
And what's so crazy is they do all that, poison us, but then when they get sick, they want to kill Jake to get their organs and shit.
Yeah.
You know, hold up. But that should show you the Lord. The Lord got a blessing on us that even though we grew up eating all the bullshit, again, a lot of us family from the South, so we definitely ate that swamp. You know what I mean? And we still maintain it, man. You never seen Uncle Joey? He got a bad lip. He got gout, but he's stronger than an ox. You know what I'm saying? He got to chop trees down. His feet swollen in a motherfucker, but he don't.
No shit, he got that one form that look like Popeye.
Yeah, grabbing car batteries with one hand.
Yeah.
Shit, like, you know what I mean?
There was a video, last year or maybe the year before, of a, I don't know, it might have been a Jake, it might have been a Canaanite or whatever, but, you know, he was working at an automotive spot, and, you know, he just bent down and pulled the whole fucking engine out the car. Pulled the fully built engine out of the car he was working on. If I find out, I'll post that in the chat too. But he can't do that shit on his best.
No.
Whole fucking engine just straddle the car, bend down, and just pull it.
Not even proper form, right?
The dude was no bigger than Zarial. He just bent down and pulled the whole fucking engine.
That's right, man.
I mean, that's Yasharala. And that goes to land back on what you were saying, Lakama, that amongst all the shit that we eat, our shit is just powerful. You know? We are the best built upon the face of the earth.
Yep.
The most blessed.
Even though we're unhealthy and we're fat, you know, obese, like if we used a little bit of focus and discipline, our bodies can change. You'll see it. You'll see the difference. You know what I mean? Yep.
Yeah, you know, that adrenaline kick, and that goes into what Hanani was saying too, as far as that lion, you know what I'm saying, that stooped down.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
once that adrenaline kicks in and Jake gets that click, it's over.
Yeah.
You know
about it.
Because even today, when you see the videos of Jake getting stopped by the popo, normally it takes about 3 or 4 popos, you know, to take down one Jake in his teenage years.
So so they're back over. You gotta wonder why it's protocol for them to have so many police pull up when it's Jake. We might have a wild one.
Message.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, you know, on that day, Jake's gonna be a champ. You know, I seen the video, like a Michael Jordan video. On Fire with me, you know, and Chuck Taylor was talking about Michael Jordan. You know, I never seen a guy just go on a tear the way that he does. Well, in that day, Jake is gonna be going on a tear.
Yeah, you kind of
stop.
Yeah, bringing up Michael Jordan, like I was just watching an old video of him, and they just showed not only was he the man offensively, he was also the man defensively.
Yeah.
And they said how big, because Mike was 6'6", but he had hands like of a center, like his hands.
Yeah.
They say he had mitts. You know how they call Kawhi the claw? They say Jordan hands was like that. You know what I mean? And he would just, like the shit he would do, he would smack the ball out of somebody's hand and go full-fledged and be in the air. There was one play, man. It's like he went in the air. What was it? Who was it? It was somebody, I can't remember. And he had to like go to another gear.
Yeah.
Man, and rolls up some more to bang on somebody. And that's like, to the naked eye, that's not humanly possible. That's the blessing that the Lord has gave Jake, man.
All that lifting, because they went through like on the documentary, because you know he was real scrawny.
Yeah, they were fucking him up at first. Detroit,
man, and he came when he started doing all that lifting with Scottie Pippen. Oh my God, bro. And then how, like you said, on that defensive side, man, he was a fucking.
They said he was strong as an ox, even though he didn't look physically strong as
lean.
Yeah.
He had a sleeper build.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, no, it's for real. It says I don't know if he's Jake or not. He probably Edomite. But long story short, this nigga he goes to various different gyms and he puts on he puts on accent on. He put on like the fake ass custodian costume and shit like that, and he'd have a mop, and the mop probably heavy as fuck, but he make it look like it's light.
Right. Yeah.
So then he'd go and criticize, like, no, you don't need to do it like that. And he's like, what you know about it? This and that and the third.
He like, hold this.
He like, hold the man. And they like, oh, what the fuck? Like, everything. He goes, no stretch, none of that, just lift the weight up and put it down. And then he hurting people's pride, and they just looking at it
like big cock evil motherfucker.
And then he take off his fucking his arm or whatever. Sleeper body. You wouldn't even know that the nigga that strong, bro.
Yeah, you can tell he work out, but he ain't as big as the. I want to, because I'll be thinking, he might be Jake, like, but you don't know because he puts this accent on. You don't know. You know what I mean? But I would, you know, hey, it's all of the love, but it wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't. Jake, you know,
only Jake go around.
Yo, the shit he lifts is ridiculous, yo. Like, yeah, he doesn't hurt himself. You know, I would think, yo, one day he gonna pull something. Nah.
Some motherfucker be pulling that shit out.
Jake just do some shit. Like, you know how, like, when we was at the court, Jake had his jeans on and came out just hitting.
Yeah.
Only
Jake shit.
That's not like he could possibly.
You see Jake. You see Northern King. Northern Kingdom's Jake playing soccer in jeans. Saying like shit that's just you're not supposed to do.
Exactly.
And they do that shit. Look at Benjamin, man. Benjamin and all that. They be in there playing soccer with nothing on their feet. On dirt roads.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's not normal, man.
Well, really, it is normal, but it's abnormal to us because we have been domesticated. Right. We gotta wear all this gear. No, man, just go out and fucking
think about the. I remember when I was coming up, the soccer player Pele. The moves like you didn't. Now you see the shit now in soccer now, but that bicycle kick he would do in the middle of the air. That shit like back then. You like, how the fuck is he doing that? And nailing his kick though. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Jake, man, you can call Louis out about shimmy out shots, man. You know?
Straight from strength will profit you little in that day. You know, and that land back on what you were saying, sorry, y'all. You know, that sleeper bill, you know, that sleeper power, you know, when the elect be raised up, you know, it's gonna be that Goku thing.
Yeah, they ain't gonna expect the elect to do the things that we do. That's why they're gonna be like they're gonna be like, what the hell? What? You know?
And what's beautiful is you said something very spiritual during the Passover, you know, with the brother from Richmond. You know, you said, you know, out of all the brothers, I think you're gonna be the one with spiritual problems. You know, and that very well might be the case because he's that humble, bro.
Exactly.
And you know, he's that one that you don't look at as being the one that
you don't think. You look at him, you look the other way. You don't think twice about no.
But that's should hey, the water to y'all about your shot. We have the eyes out to know these things.
Yeah.
You know, me personally, I don't care who it is. I've seen brothers in camp that you never think would speak up and shut shit down that have done it. You know what I mean? I don't look at the Lord can bless any one of us. Like anything, man. You know, and that's what's so beautiful about having coming from different walks of life. You know what I mean? That the person that's outside of this thing might look like, man, he old, he ain't gonna, you know, he little, he ain't shit.
Yeah.
How many times people walk up on a small guy? You know me at camp.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I gotta preach this.
I'm your ass like a fucking monkey.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. Scriptures also say that the old man should be as deep.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on this side.
Yeah, you don't. That's why the brothers in this thing. I won't put nothing past nothing because it's all of the Lord. You know, I don't care what he look like. I don't care how broken down he is. Hey, I'm a testimony when I was fucked up with that cat, couldn't even stand up straight.
Oh yeah.
And make the camp. And before I know it, halfway through camp, I'm standing up straight.
You using them,
huh?
Using them.
It ain't as bad. But that shit was so.
I remember.
Like I could not stand up straight. I had to go to physical therapy, and I'd be in so much pain about to cry at camp. And remember where we was at? We was on the incline. That made it worse.
Yeah, incline.
But the spirit started flowing. Next, you know, I'm standing up straight. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the power. Yeah, I'm showing shot. Yeah, how about you? Shot is my point.
And it's really not a far-fetched thing to see, man, because you see Jake's right now at the lowest, you know, it's still mighty, you know, mightier than all these other nations. So just, you know, when the Lord come and bring us back our strength, you can already see, you know, how we're going to be, you know, even more powerful, like you're saying, like David. But this is Isaiah 39:29 says, he giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increaseth strength.
That's exactly what Lachlan was saying.
Yeah, giving power to the faint, to the weak, to the physical, what appears to be weak. You know what I mean? What appears, because like I said, this ain't about us, man. This is the Most High proving His power,
showing His glory.
Yeah. He's doing all this. He's closing. We at the end of the book, man. We at the end of the book. We got a couple pages to go. So the turnaround has to happen because you have to. So help me out. Oh, in the book you got the beginning of the book. They got the climax. Yeah. You understand? You got the plot.
You got the plot. You got the like you said, you got the climax. You got the conclusion.
Oh, there we go. The water. We almost had the conclusion. So you know, you got to turn. We know what's to happen. We just playing this thing out. The conclusion is we going on top. You know what I mean? Right.
The kingdom.
Yep. The water. And that's the conclusion is everything. Yeah, everybody, us in our right position, and everything in righteousness, man. No more. Everything in order, man. How it's supposed to be. You know?
I appreciate it. I'm looking at the leaves. You know, that's falling. That's in order.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way they turn and they land, and, you know, the way the wind blows them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the order of how I should be out shot. You know? Man, come on.
Yep.
So
you got it.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 17, and I start at verse 41. And it says, and the Philistines came on and drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy and a fair countenance. So that the Philistine, known as Goliath, he looked at David, this youth, Lord, what the hell he gonna do? This who y'all saying? Is this your king? This who y'all saying to come and defeat the greatest champion of the Philistines?
And David, when they say he was ruddy, he was like light with a brown, red stone. So he's the light skin dude. I wonder if they was on it like that. He gonna do little light skin. He handsome. Oh. Cute.
Another red ball.
Yeah, but you never, man. Yeah, there you go.
Continue on. It says, verse 42, and when verse 43. And the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air and to the beasts of the field. Then David to the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua of hosts, the power of armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied.
If the Lord ain't with you in that day, you stuck. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has got to be with you in that day. So no matter what you got, who you with, where you at, if Yahweh Bashem Yahushua ain't with you, you're done.
Done.
But that's the Lord one with David, man.
Yeah, because then he had but he ain't had no weapons. And what's the modern day weapon? They're gonna have guns and throwing so.
He actually tried on armor. He tried on the helmet.
And he's like, man,
and what he say? I have not tested this. Get this shit off me. I ain't test this. But the sling, I tested.
It's with me,
Yeah, they said season 2 we could watch them.
I'm still on season 1.
I know season 2 came out.
Yeah, but they had it on something that you had to pay for. Now they said it's
free. I think it made me want to watch it. But it says, verse 46, this day will the Lord deliver thee into my hand, and I will smite thee and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air and the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with swords and the spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands.
Battle is who?
The battle is the Lord.
The vengeance is mine, said the Lord. We don't do things in our own.
And carnality.
Yeah, because that's in the Apocrypha where Jake ran before it was.
The Maccabees, yeah.
The elephants.
Trying to make a name for
himself. Nah.
Joshua.
I think it was Eleazar or something like that.
Oh, I think that might have been Eleazar. I think so. But that was just my point. You know what I mean? What the Lord said, if this was my kingdom, my servants will fight. Exactly. You know what I mean? We wait for the call. Right now we the watchmen.
We on call.
Yeah, we on call. We the watchmen, man. Yeah. We ain't supposed to jump. When the Heavenly Father gives you Yahushua to say so. Because mind you, the Lord, Yahushua don't even know when it's time. I bet you, I always say this, but I bet you he on the edge of the kingdom looking back. You know what I mean? Like, go.
God. But that's heavy though, because I'm gonna read that back again. It says it was Eleazar.
And the bros want to know, it's in the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 6, starts at verse 18.
If you want to get it, you can.
I got it right here.
Okay, and it says, and all the assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, but a battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. And it came to pass when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it, and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead and fell upon his face to the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistines and slew him, but there was no sword in the hand of David.
Come on.
You know, and it says, therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine and took his sword, drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head thereof. And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled. You know, so that's letting you know that the Lord is going to give us that power to overcome our enemy.
That was not Eliot's job. That was not Eliot's job.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So that account, you know, that makes me think of Troy with Achilles
Yeah.
and how big that
Got
dude.
that from the scriptures.
Yeah, of course. But you know, Achilles is just a normal sized man. But you seen he walked like Jordan. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, dude? And this dude was that guy's humongous, yo. The guys like the
movie Troy.
Oh yeah.
He came out of the joint. Everybody like, oh shit! Even the little kid that went got to himself. I've never seen a man this big. And you see Achilles slide to the left on his face and put him down to the point. And he said, "Is there anybody else? Ain't nobody with no smoke."
He never took it out in less than a minute.
Yeah.
Fight was over.
And it was the R3 move.
And then you know that hey, you ain't gonna need no weapons or so and so. The Lord may, give you a particular tool. Maybe you say, hey, you gave Samson a jawbone. You never know.
Yeah.
We're not putting our faith in these weapons and so on and so forth. So it's the Lord's fight.
Yep.
So if Yahweh Shemi outside is with you, man, you're gonna overcome your enemy.
There were also instances in the scriptures where the men of Yasharal were surrounded and they went to sleep and woke up the next day. The entire army was destroyed.
Yeah.
Thousands of them. Yeah, kind of. So, I mean, you got it.
Yeah, this is Romans 12 and 18. It says, if it be possible, as much as life in you, live peacefully with all men.
Yeah.
Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, said the Lord.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Yeah. A lot of bringing it out. Like you said, man, hey, man, right now we ain't causing harm to nobody. We trying to be people. Hey, man, when I'm out and about, I say hi to Edomites and all that. Hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? We ain't super bruised over here, man. You know what I mean? Hey, how you doing? Oh, thank you for opening the door, this and that. Because why make your cross harder, heavier than it has to be? You know what I mean? I got neighbors that all in my face because we moved different. So I got this older lady. She's a neighbor, and she always says hi, but she be on me like white on right. She be like something different about him. You know what's up with this? Yeah, but hey, and just smile and keep it pushing, man. Because this is not the time to be all. That's why I be cracking up on these dudes that have to wake up and to the truth. Yo, you know how many times around my job I see people working. And they got all these fringes on and this and that. Like, come on, man, you're doing too much. You making yourself up. You put a spotlight on yourself before it's time. You know, what you doing out here doing landscaping with fringes on? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Working out.
Yeah, man. Because Jake always want to feel like important about something. Jake want to feel accepted. That's all.
Like they part of something.
Yeah, Jake always got to be the biggest of everything, even with the GPSs. Who's the most flagrant GPS? The Jake GPS?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Elemental people.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be the most seen. You know what I mean? Now is not the time to be seen. Play the cut. You know what I mean? The Lord called us the hidden ones for a reason, you know?
Yeah, right.
Wise as the serpent.
Yeah.
Walk right here with t-shirts with Hebrew characters on it,
Yeah.
wearing fringes and shit.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Stay in the house.
Yeah. Well, shoot. Well, especially now. You can't even have a good time nowadays without fucking Satan wilding.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
God, because we're in that time.
Yep.
That was all.
We almost.
Can you look for that instance in the Maccabees where I want to say, yeah, forget the name of the brother who
I got you.
who went under the elephant and slid it and the elephant fell on him. It was one of the Maccabee brothers.
No, it wasn't one of the brothers.
It wasn't one of the Maccabee brothers?
was one of the people that was in his armies.
Yeah, it is Eleazar.
Yeah, it was
Eleazar?
Okay. It's Maccabees 6 and 32.
I was literally right here.
The older guy.
Yeah. It's First Maccabees 6 and 32.
Can you bring it up, Bubba Kashan?
Yeah, you said 6 and 36.
Yeah. Was killed at the Battle of Zechariah.
Literally
Okay.
right there, yeah. This is First Maccabees chapter 6, and I started verse 29. It says, there came also unto him from other kingdoms and from the isles of the sea bands of hired soldiers, so that the number of their army was 100,000 footmen and 20,000 horsemen, 2 and 30 elephants exercised in battle. These went through Idumea and pitched against Bersur, Beth Sura, where they assaulted many days, making again of war. But they of Bethsura came out and burnt them with fire and fought valiantly. Upon the Jews moved from the tower and pitched in Zacharias over against the king's camp. Then the king, rising very early, marched fiercely with his host towards Bath Zacharias, where his armies made them ready to battle and sounded the trumpets. And to the end they might provoke the elements to fight, they showed them blood of grapes and mulberries. I said, right, I'm gonna jump down because I think that's not the point.
That's where it begins. It's not.
Oh, yeah. Verse 41, it says, wherefore all that heard the noise of the multitude marching in the company and rather the harshness were moved from the army was very great and mighty. Then Judas and his host drew near and entered into battle. And there were slain in the king's army 600 men. Eleazar also surnamed Saran, perceiving that one of the beasts armed with royal harness was higher than all the rest, and so supposing that the king was upon him, put himself in jeopardy to the end he might deliver his people and get him a perpetual name. Wherefore he ran upon him courageously through the midst of the battle, slaying on the right hand and on the left, and they were divided from him on both sides. Which done, he crept under the elephant and thrust him under and slew him, whereupon the elephant fell down upon him, and there he died. Yeah, so pretty much he was getting busy, you know what I mean? But what, man, after he slayed the elephant, fell upon him and he perished, man.
Now, was on First Maccabees 6?
Yes.
Okay, now there's another Eleazar that I was bringing out.
Yeah.
And let me get this for edification, because this is the one I brought out, but he brought out the one that was called for earlier. The book of Second Maccabees, chapter 6 and verse 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, and he was an aged man and of well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat the swine's flesh. So that would go the man who was, well, let me just finish reading. But, verse 19, but he choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth and came of his own accord to the torment. So,
during that time frame, you have to remember it was known as the Hellenization period. So literally, Israel was fighting for their own independence. So that's where you have you can go into secular history called the Maccabean Revolt. So you have particular Israelites, a small remnant that was revolting against it. And then when they see that, you have other Israelites standing up and fighting. When you had the other, I'm gonna call it the 2/3 for edification's sake, was what they were selling out, eating swine, living luxuriously because they forsook the laws and statutes and commandments, and they forsook their power. So that man right there, that older man, he was saying, hey, I'd rather die in glory than to forsake my power by eating this swine's flesh, speaking in Greek, and so on and so forth. And that was pretty much the ultimatum that was given, you know?
yeah, counting the younger men were watching him,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And what would it have been like had he broke,
Exactly.
you know?
He understood it was bigger than him. It wasn't about him. He wasn't bigger than the program. He knew that if he died in glory, then that would what? That would raise up and that would enable this younger man to look.
Exactly.
My father died for them. My grandfather died for you. Think I'm gonna bow down and be dog?
Exactly.
Because that's the same thing that happened to the brothers.
7 brothers.
Yeah.
We could close out if any brother got
I just this last precept because anything we do in glory, we should do it for the glory for the Lord.
Yeah.
2 Corinthians 10:17 it says, "But he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord." So anything we do, it should be glorifying the Lord.
Yeah, that's why.
Not ourselves.
Yeah, that's why I was saying when another brother look another brother out, say the water, and then what we said, no, the water out by shot. Whatever how we catch and we the Lord gives us favor out of it, we got to give Him. Saying we do something that the world will look at as that was dope. Nah, it's all through y'all by shot, man. Like I said all the time, we characters in this thing, man. We just playing it, and we playing out the conclusion, as we said, of the movie. Man. So, with that, man, this was a beautiful camp day, man. The spirit really was flowing, and Lord's will will be out here next week to continue to do that. And that's what to prophesy the downfall of our enemies and the uplifting, and of the righteous kingdom of Yasha. So with that, we're gonna pine your Hapadan, face the east. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahshua, Bahashem, B'Kakadah. Double honor to the apostles, a great millstone who rule well, who teach well, where we learn this knowledge, wisdom, and truth from. We'll say, Kwam Yasha Allah, Kwam Yasha Allah, walk with a ball, walk up a ball, Shalom. Shalom.